Welcome, adventurers, to the Pineapple Patch Notes, where we dive deep into the enchanting world of fantasy and adventure. I'm your host, Zelik, and tonight I'm going to fill you with humor, sultriness, and a sprinkle of sexy as we dissect the latest patch notes from the realm of Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. Before spending a long evening grinding away at Pantheon, let's take a moment to talk about consent. Because consent is sexy. First of all, crafted tools and items using a dropped component might be feeling a little insecure about the size of their stats. That's just something you're going to have to accept. You should also know that buff and debuff icons have been known to be a little clingy. Expect them to try and stick around longer than desired, taking up space without bringing you any additional satisfaction. Additionally, for those of you into skinning, I hope you're into roleplay, because you're about to have an experience filled with animations and sound effects while you do your thing. And speaking of harvesting, those celibate skills are saving themselves. I have just one question for Papa Joppa. When are you going to let us use our tools with our friends? It's much more fun to come together than to be alone. Now that we've talked about consent and come to an understanding, I want to introduce some general information. Do you ever tire of NPCs playing hard to get? Well, from now on, if you manage to catch their attention, they won't hesitate to check you out. And if they like what they see, they might just make the first move. Along those lines, if an NPC does pursue you, make sure you let them finish, because if you leave them unsatisfied, they're just going to pursue someone else who can get the job done. It's time to put your jealousy away. When that enchanting special someone in your life mesmerizes an NPC, don't start hating on that NPC without consent. The enchanter will find out, and it won't be pretty. I don't know about you, but this next note has got me all kinds of excited. After a long, hard day grinding away at Pantheon, it's time to pitch your tent, because the camp command is here to spice up your exit strategy. When you and your partners have finished off and you want to pull out of Pantheon gracefully, use camp and catch your breath for 30 seconds. Don't worry though, you can still use quit or exit to pull out in a hurry. But beware, NPCs might catch you with your pants down when you ghost your party like that. I have to say, I'm proud of VR for this next one. They didn't used to place much value on reach, but they have since come to realize that the reach around is important. Now everyone gets to participate in the experience. Remember those kinks I mentioned earlier? Well, for those of you that are into direct damage, Channelus Interruptus is now a thing. Be prepared, because it happens about half the time. In other good news, NPCs that are playing hard to get will let you chase them just enough to keep things spicy, without sacrificing the thrill of the chase. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might find yourself sliding deep into a slippery opportunity. You ever have one of those awkward moments when you're having fun with your client and you realize they don't even remember who you are? Well, the good news is your client should have some better memory with this update. And last, but certainly not least, the sex appeal has been turned up to 11 with improved grass rendering. Because nothing says sexy like a perfectly manicured tuft of grass right under your nose. This has been part 1 of the Pantheon Rise of the Fallen patch notes for Chapter 1, Season 2's mid-season update. Stay tuned for part 2, where I twist my tongue deep into the class notes. If you'd like a more serious and in-depth breakdown of the patch notes, go check out Desryn's video. I'll put a link in the description below. I'm Zelik, encouraging you to spice up your games with some excitement, some adventure, and of course, some dungeons.